So this conference is a perfect example for connection economy. Why did you come here? We were talking yesterday. Why do they come? So many people. Why do so many people come to a conference? We don't know, but we had a couple of hypotheses, and one was about connecting to ideas, connecting to people. And you can connect to people today, not to 300, but you could connect. There is people, they say 150 is the number you can really care about, the Dunbar number. You can really care about 150 people. You can meet them, you can have a real interaction, a real relation. Maximum 150. But what would you need to connect here at this conference or out there in these loud markets which are overpopulated? I think you need clarity, and that's why in a moment you will do the clarity card for yourself. So an unshakable core of inner clarity. I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I know what I not stand for. And I know what my goal is, and how it feels, how it looks, how it feels, how does it smell when I'm there. Because this is my true north. Without that, I will lose myself in the waters. I will lose myself swimming. There's so many opportunities. The second thing is I will need courage to connect. Because connecting is not just sending your CV, sending your invitation, sending your friendship invitation to somebody. Connecting is about going into vulnerability. I show myself. I really tell you who I am, where I'm going, what I stand for, what I not stand for. And I risk a lot. I give my best. But you can criticize me, of course. You will find errors. But do I close? In the industrial age, I would close. In the digital age, I wouldn't. I would open. I would go for transparency. I would go for vulnerability. I would go for documentation of what you do instead of creation. And generosity. Give it away. You can say, I am the best, but you can also say, I have something that could help. I share with you my best tool. I brought something with me. I see that you need this. Can I help you? I think this is still the most relevant part of connecting in the digital age. And let's try it out. First thing, your inner clarity. While I tell you a couple of questions, take notes on your clarity card about 3 things right now: your purpose, your strategy, your tactics. You can apply it to yourself at this conference. What's your goal? What do you want to achieve? And how are you going to do that today? You can apply that to your corporate situation at the moment, or to your new business idea that you are thinking about and you want to test it today with other people. So it's a very simple structure. I'm 13 years in strategy consulting. I had very, very complicated and complex models, but this is my favorite and the one that's the most helpful, and it's so basic, and that's why it's helpful, because it keeps you focused. So purpose, strategy, tactics. Purpose. What do you stand for? What do you not stand for? Who is your product for, or your service? And how does it change the people? Write down your first idea about that. If you have no idea, make a question mark. It's also very helpful. Then you are programming your mind to scan for that in the next days. Strategy. How will you become a category of one? So how will you get rid of competition? Because if you think too much about competition, you are not focusing on what's relevant to you. Also, it only makes sense to craft a strategy that goes for number one. There is no sense in being number three in the digital ages. Of course, one goal is you want to rank in Google very high. Yes, you want. You should, if you want to be found. But there is no sense in being found on the second page of the Google search. You want to be on the first page. And how can you do it in a crowded market? You can only do it by differentiating, by being who you are, because there is only one that is you. So that's a category of one. If you come from that place, you have no competition. If you go into competition, you will have price problems. You will get into a commodity market. You don't want to get there. How will you decide when faced with two attractive paths? There is a technique, it's called rules of thumb, where you say this even over this. It's very helpful. 4, 5 rules of thumb, this even over this. And both have to be attractive. For example, I make my current client happy versus I try to get new clients on board. Both is very attractive. Both is very meaningful. But if you do both at once, you lose focus. So what are you going to do in this month? You will have to decide. Do you focus on your current clients, so current client new problem, or current client side problem? But you still have a trustful relationship. You can go to the next problem of your current client. Or do you go into getting attention and getting a new client? It's a complete different strategy. Both are great strategies, but never at once. And then the tactics. What builds on what? You are project managers, so you know there are parallel projects and sequential projects. And it's a huge difference. For some tasks, you have to wait for another task to be completed before you do it. So it doesn't go into this slot of this sprint. What builds on what? Which assets can you craft and leverage? This goes back to doing work and business to find your specific balance. How many hours are you doing your work today? And how many hours are you doing business today? Creating your future. Because if you are a service, then you are solving the problems of other people. Beautiful. But when do you solve yours? Which assets are you going to build that you can leverage next year? So how can you modularize things if you are into services so that you can rebuild them to a product, and this product can generate revenue in an automated way? That's what the digital age stands for. The digital sales funnel, creating something, if you are a service, that is an online course that will sell during the night. Because a freelancer gets paid when he's awake, but an entrepreneur gets paid while she is asleep. That's the difference. And what's your balance? How will you see if it works? So when you know in which game you are in, how will you take score? I asked yesterday a very smart person, okay, you put 15,000 euro into this brochure for this magazine for your program. What's the conversion of this 15,000 euro? How much participants do you get in your program? And he said, I have no idea, Simon. So in the digital age, we are much more data driven. We can rely much more on short planning circles, but that are real. In a digital funnel, you know exactly what the conversion rate is of what you do. So rely on that. Don't go for brochures somewhere if you cannot measure the impact. Stop doing that. Don't do commercials on TV where you cannot measure the conversion. So do them in the digital world, build a digital funnel of your physical products, because there you can measure what's going on. This is a great thing. And what is the smallest prototype you can test? So again, it's about going small, very small. Think big, but act very small and very fast. How can you build it before you build it? That's the question. When Elon Musk was thinking about, should I go in with the Model S? He had this question, will the market need it? Will the market want it? Will the market buy it? But of course, he didn't build it before. So he thought, how can I build it before I build it? It was a fake website with a fake product, and it was asking, this is a complete electrical vehicle. Do you like it? But not only do you like it, it was asking, would you put $20,000 right now by pushing this button and to get into the waiting list? Right now. So this is how you can build it before you build it. It's a prototype, it's a fake, it's just a website. And you can do it in 10 minutes to find out if it's going to work. And this is also a great differentiator of the digital age. We don't need to build it. We can find out before. So how are you going to build it before you build it, and which networks effects can you build into it?